So you guys are lucky. Very first episode of the podcast since we started to remodel the kitchen.
Ooh.
So look at that.
It looks like it's lovely.
Beautiful.
I love a marble.
Oh, stop. Just don't stop.
It's gorgeous.
Don't. I said don't stop,
Stunning.
Julie. Keep giving me
Stunning.
more compliments on it.
Hello. It's just gorgeous just to just compliment the whole.
I know. We're so proud of it. It's only been since July that we've been tearing it all apart and sawdust everywhere and drywall everywhere. And now we're finally like, can we actually have some people over and maybe have a podcast? And she's like, yeah, my wife's like, yeah, I think we can. So here we are.
We are honored.
Yeah. So Perrysburg Musical Theatre is the very first episode. What is it? Post kitchen? What do you call it? BK? Yeah. BK. That's what we're doing it here. So, and you guys are doing next to normal. I know. Anthony's shaking his head, but he can't see it on the podcast. It's quality material for a podcast when you shake your head.
So animated, yes.
So you guys are doing next to normal.
We are.
You are.
We're killing it.
And Anthony, you're new to the area. You're from Cleveland. Nobody knows who you are, so you got to tell us everything about your whole life.
Anthony Cavada from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a singer-songwriter and an actor.
Songwriter, even.
Yeah.
Fancy
Actually, to be honest, I'm mostly a singer-songwriter. That's my primary sort of gig. And then got bit by the theater bug like 10 years ago. I've been doing a lot of musicals and theater since. And
so singer-songwriter. So what do you mean? What were you doing before? You said you're mostly, and then you got hooked in later. What was the occasion there? So did you go to like school for this, or you just been doing it since you were 4 and writing songs like that?
So music and singing has just always been something that I've done.
Okay.
Like I've just always been able to do it. Like I love to sing. And went to college at Tri-C, and there was an audition for a play that they were doing called This Is Where We Came In, which was like sort of like a story. It's like a fantasy kind of story. Fairy
I already
tale.
like that title. It's pretty cool.
It was really cool. It was a cool concept. And I thought, I was like, maybe I could be a good actor. I don't know.
Maybe I'm okay at this.
Maybe I can. And so I auditioned, and I got a lead on my first audition, and this was a long time ago. Yeah, and I've just been doing theater ever since.
You're such a guy in theater, getting a lead on the first try.
Absolutely.
What? Gross. You're gross. You already like, I was just so good at music all the time my whole life.
Well, that was just a play. So, I mean, no. So yeah, it was cool. It just kind of worked out. The stars aligned for me, and then once I hit that stage the first time, it was no going back.
Oh, then you got the fix, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think for me, at least as a musician, as a singer-songwriter, especially like in a local capacity, very rarely do you find yourself in a position to perform in front of hundreds of people at the same time where they're actually going to listen and not have a beer in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought theater kind of works perfectly for me as a singer too, and so I just kind of rode the wave and have been.
And then the adrenaline hits you, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is So then you kept going to the next dealer and the next dealer, trying to get your fix.
That's really yep, that's correct. that's a very appropriate analogy. Yeah.
So now you're here. And how long you been here in the area?
About 9 months. My partner and I got a place here in Perrysburg.
9 months, just enough time to have a baby. Did you got a newborn or anything like that?
I would love a baby someday.
Someday when you're ready for a baby.
Yeah.
But right now you're just living the single life in Perrysburg, huh?
No. I live with my partner.
Oh, sorry, you did say that. I misheard that. I heard it and then I didn't hear it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pay attention. Sometimes
Probably for the best.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Marco heard that.
Marcos. Yes.
Marcos, there's an S at the end.
It's
My
plural,
bad.
yes.
Wow, there's more than one of them.
Oh, my father still calls him Marco. Hey, Marco, how you doing?
Oh, and you're Italian?
My mom is from Italy and my dad is from Argentina, so I'm Italian and Hispanic.
Oh, look at that. Can you speak any other languages?
I speak Italian.
Oh, you're gross. He gets grosser every time I keep talking to him. This guy, man, he's gorgeous looking. His shoes are too white. Everything's wrong with you. I don't like it. And then we got Amy here. Amy, you're here for Next to Normal because a lot of listeners that follow this podcast are very familiar with Next to Normal and the fact that it has issues that a lot of people in society are dealing with on a regular basis. And you work for?
I am the co-founder of the Monarch.
Co-founder.
Yes, of the Monarch Grief Center.
Monarch Grief Center. And what is it that you guys do over there specifically?
So we provide individual and group counseling for folks who are struggling with grief.
Okay. Grief on any kind of level, like at all?
Well, we've only been open since the first part of February.
Okay.
And so we've chosen to kind of limit ourselves this first part of our tenure, if you will, to folks who have lost a person.
Okay.
But there are lots of other forms of grief out there, and we're not opposed to branching out into those areas.
And you were the whole reason why we're having this podcast is because no pressure. But the idea when PMT got a hold of us about having the podcast on was your unique angle that you are going to be a part of this podcast and be able to bring that angle onto what's going on. And you were, we scheduled this time later to accommodate you being here because, geez, you're working late already on a weekday here.
Well, we have specialized grief groups. That's one of the things that we do. So most of our individual counseling is done kind of 9 to 5, but the grief groups typically are in the evening, but not only, but the one tonight was. But we try really hard to, I should back up. The reason we started the Monarch Grief Center, both Tim Polakowski and I, he's my co-founder. We started this because he and I both had a hospice background, and hospice does do some great work with bereavement and grief. There are individual counselors in the area that do grief work, but in a lot of cases, it's not as specialized as we thought it needed to be, and that there's also plenty of work to go around. So we decided to open up the center, and we did that with the idea in mind that we wanted to sort of be a bridge to bring all the groups together, all the entities together that provide grief services. We want to just be able to be a referral source to them and them to us and find the best fit so people get the help that they need. And then being a 501c3, a nonprofit, we try really hard to keep our costs down, and we don't ever want finances to be a burden for our folks. So we have a very generous.
So you were in hospice care and now you're in grief counseling?
Yes.
Oh man, you're punching that ticket right to heaven, aren't you? I'm serious, you're like a special kind of person.
It doesn't
for real. For real, you really are, because that's your heart is huge. I can't do it. I'm a weak person. I just don't think I could do what you do.
Everybody has their gifts.
Yeah, I guess what's mine?
You can run a podcast.
Yeah, mine is to fish for compliments on my kitchen. That's my compliment, apparently. Look at that. Look at that.
Which is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you very much.
That's right. I don't know if I've said that.
Stop. Okay, so now we got Julie here. Julie is actually the director of the show, so you get to tell us about the show for everybody out there, because I'm sure there are some who are unfamiliar with Next to Normal. It's only been performed maybe once, twice. I don't even know if it's been done in a full-fledged show, though, like a staged show. I know there's been readings, and I forget what it's called when they sing. They do this. Do you know what that's called? When they do that?
Yeah, a reading.
Yeah,
where they did that. There were a couple of them. I think Owens did.
Okay.
And then also there was that performance as well.
Okay. Issue Box did it a long time ago too.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Same deal. But just not a lot of people do it, and I've never seen the show.
Okay.
I'm only familiar with the music. I'm one of those guys who is more than happy to put on the playlist and on Spotify and listen to the whole thing all the way through. And then try and figure out, piecing in, like, I wonder what's happening here.
Wow.
Best way I can describe it and kind of tell you a little bit about it is at the very beginning, you meet the Goodman family. Mom, dad, brother, sister. Mm-hmm. There's also the sister's boyfriend is in it, and there's a doctor. A gentleman plays 2 doctors. So it's a 6-person cast. But you meet the Goodman family, and the beginning song sounds like a TV sitcom theme song. And we're the perfect loving family. And they're trying to present this that they're perfect, and at the end of the song you realize something is wrong, that they're not, and you discover about the mother's mental illness, that she's bipolar. She's bipolar, but that kind of she was diagnosed bipolar, but that didn't quite cover it all. And so the story is about her journey, her treatments, and how the family copes and deals with that. And how, as a nuclear family, modern day, how they move forward in it.
Yeah, and seeing already, you've already given me 2 additional characters I didn't even know were in the show. I didn't know the daughter has a boyfriend. Didn't even know that.
Yes.
Probably has a whole song in there, and I get him confused with somebody else that's singing.
They have several.
Yeah.
See, look at this. See,
Yeah.
it's hard to distinguish sometimes when you're listening to just the audio recording.
Oh yeah.
It's like, is that the brother singing?
They like, especially learning the material. It's been having to detach from what I know of it through the soundtrack and actually, oh, that's not my part.
Oh, did you do the same thing? Have you never seen the show before?
So no, yes, I've seen the show.
Okay.
But you know, I'm obsessed with the music, so it's kind of like when it started, my obsession started with just the music, and then I finally saw the show. But yeah, it was the same. It was the same.
It was just, there's some
Because
very powerful songs in there, very
Yeah.
good, well-written music in this show.
Yeah.
That it's easy to listen to just the soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Because I have several of them just in my playlist. I have a generic, like, I call it Musical Playland, and it has every stinking musical song that I like, which is a crazy amount because I like almost every musical. And then sometimes I'm like, I want to listen to the whole story, so I'll listen to just the whole story. Mm-hmm. But I have not been. I know I'm missing a ton. And some shows, when you listen to them on the recording, it's the whole dang show, and you can figure it out no problem. But I know Next to Normal has got stuff in there that I'm missing.
Absolutely. And when it was starting to open in New York, it was just beginning. I was in the city, and they were putting up, and if you go to New York, they put up the marquee, and you see the big pictures, and there's pictures of each family member.
Okay.
And just the looks on their face and in their eyes, it was very complex. I'm like, I've never heard of it. And I'm like, This is interesting. I wonder what this is about.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on with these people?
They're even more like, they're obtuse even with the marketing on it, probably.
Yeah.
Huh?
And then what they did is they recorded their cast recording, and they did a video of Superboy and the Invisible Girl.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what hooked me. And then that's amazing. And looking into it, the storyline. And
Ruin it, Julie. What's that song about? That particular one? Superman and...
It's about the daughter and how she just feels... invisible. She feels neglected.
I mean, it's right there in the title, right? It's
right there.
Superboy and Invisible Girl.
And how,
I assume, can I just guess, since I've never seen the show and interrupt you? Let me just say, is it just strictly about, like, she just feels as though the son is the favorite child and always has been,
like,
and
if you listen to the song, and we've talked about it, if you listen to the song, there's so many descriptions of the brother. He's this, he's that, he's that. She's not there. She's just like, I'm not even here. You don't even see me. Like, and even in the mom comes in and she says, I love, and it's not spoiling anything. No. I love you as much as I can. And just,
wow.
Yeah. And it's just like, and it's how the daughter deals with that. And
I don't even say that to my dogs. That's rough.
So, how she just feels neglected and just how this overpowers everything.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes to this show, though, are they gonna? I mean, so everything has, like, when I go to some of these shows, like if you go and see some of the like more upbeat shows, like I don't know, I'm trying to think of Music Man. When you go to Music Man, you kind of feel like when you're watching that, like, oh, this is a traditional musical with the, it's going to have the 76 trombones. It's going to be the big. Is anything like, what is the takeaway on this one? I guess, like, what are you going to feel when you go to this thing?
Well, it totally different.
I'm sure.
Totally different. There is
no trombones in this one.
I can kind of tell you too. It won the Pulitzer, but it did not win Best Tony.
It won a Pulitzer?
It won the Pulitzer Prize, and it definitely deserved it.
I'm confused. Isn't the Pulitzer like a newspaper or something? What is that?
And art and literature and music as well. There's only several musicals that have ever won it.
Okay.
Rent was one.
Okay.
Rent was one. But it won it, and there was this whole big to do about it. But I feel personally that it deserved it. And I used in rehearsal, the idea, if you think of like Death of a Salesman, if you think about that won the Pulitzer. That was about a family, like in the 50s.
Okay.
They turned 49, 49. And that time, that is, Death of a Salesman is a snapshot is like a time capsule of how they talked to one another, how the family talked, how they dealt with one another, how they moved, and just the dynamic of the family. This, in 2008, it was written, is a snapshot to me of just 2008. What was going on, how families deal with one another, how we talk. And it was at like this time when it just became, we started talking about mental health, and that became so important to everyone. And it's still taboo, and people don't talk about it, and everybody needs help. It's okay. Even in the show, you'll know, even the strongest people, even some need somebody. Nice, they need a hand.
I love it. This is your director? Mm-hmm. She doesn't seem to care about this at all.
Oh, nah.
You are so lucky.
So yeah, we've had a lot of conversations, a lot of talk. Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, it lost the Tony Award to Billy Elliot.
Oh, Billy Elliot great. I love Billy Elliot though too.
Billy Elliot is great, and that's a big musical.
Yeah.
And this was the smaller, going up against something big and flashy. Yeah. Just like Avenue Q won, and that's a smaller one. It beat out Wicked.
Wow, it did?
It beat out Wicked.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Have you seen this show, Amy? I don't know if they've forced you to come to rehearsals, or have you gone to anything? Have you seen anything at this at all?
I have not. Okay. I am looking forward to seeing it though, because I will be at, I believe, all 3 shows.
Oh, are you going to be doing any kind of talkbacks or anything like that for the shows?
That would be cool.
You know, I'm open to that. I'm not. We hadn't gotten that far. I will be at all the shows, and I will be at a table in the lobby with information about Monarch, and if you want me to come,
is that why you'll be at the shows, because you'll have a access to people if they need something? Or?
Well, not necessarily to be a counselor, but just to let people know that you're
a
resource out there.
Exactly.
I think it would be, honestly, I mean, especially working in tandem with what you do. I mean, this is, for me, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show is because I myself have gone through an abnormal amount of grief. I lost my sister. I lost my 2 best friends. I lost my cousin. Abnormal amount of grief in my life.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's just literally the tip of the iceberg. And like, I found this musical through trying to find some song that could help express my grief in an audition way when I was auditioning for shows. And I found my song that I finally get to perform on stage in this show. It's called I've Been. And it just speaks to like the husband trying, without giving out too much, with the husband trying to like discuss like all he's been through and helping his wife deal with her grief. And sort of just like the trial and error of everything, and like what else can he do to help her. But then he, feels like he kind of like lost. And for me, like that resonates in a way with having lost my sister after her struggles with mental health. So doing this show for me is wonderful. So I could say like firsthand, like having you there doing a talk back could be so beneficial to people that are, because I feel like the people that come to see this show, a lot of them are aware of the subject matter, and it's just such an important I can't express how important this conversation is to have. Like,
absolutely. And we do have at rehearsals a mental health expert helping us.
Really?
We do. That she came in.
A different one than Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. You guys have got this covered then. Nice.
Yeah, I definitely, and when I was asked to do this, it was like, we have to do this right, and we have to be careful and know that this is important work. Work. And she's like given me so much information and made me think of things in a different light.
There's just a lot going on in the rehearsals that you as performers are dealing with, and you're being asked to put those emotions and those feelings right out there for everybody.
Yeah, the biggest thing as a director in any show that you do, but especially for this one, any director, you want to make sure your space is a safe space.
Yeah.
It's safe, that they can talk and they can create and be whoever they want, and they're supported.
Good point, actually. Great point.
We've had to take several moments throughout. I mean, and I think this is going to be something that's normal throughout this process, is especially for me, for anybody that's lost somebody, which is pretty much everybody.
Yes, exactly.
To have to I always I have my emotions on tap. So, I can access that, but then detaching from that when I leave rehearsal is always challenging. So Julie's been so great about being like, do we need a minute? Do we need a minute? Let's talk. Are you cool? Cause we'll just be running lines and people get emotional.
Thank you,
because
Julie.
it's the dialogue is so heavy.
I can see that because I know my personal defense, I guess, against any of that kind of stuff is to shut things off and just not talk about it. Don't you just move on. That's life. You just got to move on.
We call that stuffing.
Is that what that's called? Stuffing? I'm a stuffer.
Yeah,
stuffer.
The dad in the musical, the daughter and the boyfriend mirror somewhat the mom and dad, but you see mom and dad old school, where the dad is very much, we've talked about everything's fine, everything's great, I have it under control, there's always an answer, we can handle this, we can handle this, and there's that where you see the daughter and the boyfriend, and the boyfriend's always like, hey, can we talk?
That goes back to what you were saying, though, Julie, and the fact that forever it was you don't talk about any of this stuff, which is so weird. Mm-hmm. It really is. People have been dealing with deaths, that they should be allowed to grieve since obviously all of humanity. So I don't quite understand why we got to a point where it was like, shove it under the rug, don't talk about it. Suck it up. What is your problem for having a problem?
It's not that way everywhere around the world.
There we go.
It's kind of
old school.
That's an American English thing.
Yeah, my parents are. That's how they are.
Yeah.
My mom is very expressive about her, but my dad is always I'm mirroring my father a lot in this show. I find.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what is your role in the show? Sorry,
I'm
we
Dan.
never asked you that.
I play the dad.
You're the dad. Okay, all right. I should have asked that question
Yeah.
up front. Maybe we never did that. So who are the people that are doing the roles in this show, Julie?
Who are doing the roles?
Yeah, there's 6 people, right?
Yes, there's Jessica's Diana is the mother, Jessica Mullins. We have Kurt Elfring as Gabe.
Okay.
And the son's name is Gabe.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie is Kayla Slattery. The boyfriend Henry is Alex Evans. And then playing the doctor, there's 2 different doctors that he plays, is John Slattery is Kayla's husband, which I didn't cast Jonathan as the boyfriend, but he just kind of, as a director, you have to make those decisions, and they're like, I need him as the doctor.
Wait a minute, so Kayla, I know Kayla. She's
a sweetheart.
Oh yeah. She's been performing theater for a while here in the area, and then she got married and changed her name. So when you said her name, I didn't make that connection here real quick. So her husband is in the show, but not her boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he's not boyfriend material. He's husband material. That's all.
There you go.
So clever. That's really good. That's really smart.
And they're professionals about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, and it's
been great.
And who's the elf? Gabe? Who's playing Gabe?
Who's playing Gabe?
Yeah.
Kurt.
Oh, he sounded familiar too, so I probably know.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to remember everybody here. I'm doing my best, people.
Kurt's hitting those high notes.
Yeah, because he's got the real high.
All the guys in the show sing.
Is he
super
young?
high.
Is he young? Is Kurt young? Is he like 16?
He's
15?
young. He's
Okay.
younger.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That helps.
He's got a baby face. He's very talented.
That helps.
He's
with
believable. Absolutely.
That's good.
And you'll hear him sing, and you'll just like, wow.
Really
all right.
All of them. It's just everybody all in.
Well,
day one.
That's Perrysburg's tradition, though, too. I mean,
absolutely.
Since they started not that long ago, they've always put on quality shows, and you put on quality shows, you get quality talent showing up. Yeah. So how'd you find out about them, Anthony? How'd you find out about Perrysburg? New guy, 9 months here.
I just was snooping around asking people about any kind of auditions that have been going on. And then I know that there were some auditions for Stone with Rocky Horror or whatever, and a couple other things that are going on. And I was like, gosh, I wonder if anybody's doing Next to Normal. And
Get out. You were not.
Swear to God.
You said that?
Absolutely. Literally have it in writing. I was like, I wonder if anybody around's doing Next to Normal. And then somebody was like, oh yeah, Perrysburg Musical Theatre is doing it. So we're probably not going to do it this season. And I said,
yeah,
good to know.
Well,
and then I went to the audition the next day.
There you go.
It was the next day?
Whenever it was, the next week or whatever. And then Julie reached out and we want you to be Dan. And I was like, what?
Of course.
He was like, shut up.
I literally responded. I was like, shut up.
And I was like,
is that a yes?
Or do you really want me to shut up?
I hope he said that like little Richard. Shut up.
That's exactly what happened when I proposed to my wife. What? Shut up. No, that's not what happened. No, it was worse than that. I can't even tell you about it.
I was like,
oh, really? At work? And that's great, though. That breaks the boringness of work, though. You get some great news that comes in.
I wanted this role for so long, and I finally got it. So
you walked in, and I'm like, please sing. Please, I hope he can. And he did.
Oh, yeah? Because he just looked like he could sing?
He looked like, I'm hoping, let's hear what he does. And it's like, oh, good.
Yes, that's everybody who walks in. I assume you're like, please be able to sing, right?
Absolutely. Yes, let's hear it. I'm telling you, the talent in Toledo is fierce.
Well, I hope when people walk in, you don't have the thought, boy, I hope they suck. I hope you don't act like that.
No.
Well, this person, I don't want them.
I have to say, I've been to a lot of auditions in a lot of regions, and I was, because you can hear the people before you when you're waiting, and I was like,
now I gotta bleep that.
I'm like, do you? I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
You cussed earlier. So
I know. I wasn't recording then.
No, I just like heard everybody, and they were all so good. I was like, oh man, I just gonna have some competition here.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest, you only saw a sliver. You only saw those that showed up for one audition. Yeah. When you continue to go in the area, you're going to be like, wow, this area is hot.
Yeah.
It is. I could have cast it several times. I could have cast it, but the people that I chose just was the right combination.
Yeah, everything.
For me. And it's hard saying, like, there are people that deserve to.
Yeah.
It's just the talent is outstanding. And all the shows going on. It's just fascinating in the fall, seeing where everybody falls and all the different shows and who's going to go here.
When's this show? I'm going to try and come. because this is one of the shows I've never seen.
You should.
You
need to.
Through 29th.
Please do.
October.
Yeah. When is it? I'm sorry?
October 27th through the 29th.
27th through the 29th. Okay. Because I know I'm going to go see TSA's show that they're doing of She Loves Me, which is another show I've never seen.
It's fun. It's cute.
Yeah, it's You've Got Mail just in musical form, I heard, or Shop Around the Corner, but I've never seen it.
Wait,
so I'm always trying to see.
What is it?
It's called She Loves Me. Yeah, She Loves Me.
It's adorable.
That sounds cute.
Yeah, and it's the Shop Around the Corner movie back in the 50s, I think it was done, and we're not here to talk about them though. But anyways,
I'm sorry, no, but you said You've Got Mail, and I'm like a rom-com.
Yeah,
sucker.
so am I. You got to come over. We got a big screen over here. You're not going to hang out and watch all our movies that my wife makes fun of me for.
I love it.
She's like, oh, geez, can we just watch a vampire movie? You want to watch this again?
It's like the same conversation, Marcus.
Like this again. I'm like, what? I watch your Zombiever. You can't watch something for me? I mean, well, so we're gonna the peanut gallery's piping in over there. So you're going to be there every show, and you're going to have your stuff in the lobby. So if anybody wants to sit down and at least get some information to be able to go there and find out, it's the Monarch. What is it called?
The Monarch Grief Center.
Monarch Grief Center.
Right a kitty corner from where you guys perform. You're performing in the old Perrysburg.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Commodore building.
Oh, you're in the Commodore building again? Mm-hmm. That's becoming like the new... So all of the shows that aren't like the main summer show are going to be in the Commodore probably there for Perrysburg. That's the feeling I'm getting now.
Yeah, the last few have been there.
Yeah. So they do their big summer show that's like consists of 100 kids and stuff in it usually. They try and pick a big community show. And on the Commodore, I don't know, if the Commodore can accommodate. I don't know.
Yes, I know. And they're doing The Secret Garden.
Oh.
And that's in February. I love that musical. That's going to be a nice
Another beautiful one. But then hopefully, maybe I said, talk back. Anthony's in on it. Everybody's in on it.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Maybe a couple questions here and there in the audience, and maybe just, I don't know. It's going to be hard, though, in a bit, though, to maybe, pinpoint and give the people the proper attention. That's why if they need more to be able to come and see.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
October 20 what?
7th through the 29th.
27th through the 29th. You can go to Perrysburg Musical Theater's website, and they got the tickets available there, I'm sure, right?
On sale now.
Okay. Did I forget anything? I don't want to rush you guys off.
The level of talent in the show is amazing.
Yes.
It's going to be it's such a great show. It speaks to so many issues that people really, the conversations that we really need to have.
Yes.
So we can't encourage people more to come and enjoy the show.
Yes, I agree. And that's what I want to do. Get people there to see this show so that we are getting rid of all this dumb stigma that still somehow exists.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I really don't.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yes, you are, Monarchy people. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
Bye.